Hi soulmates, you're all welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time of being here, thank you for joining us. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this stylish A-line dress. So let's dive right into the tutorial. For better understanding, make sure you watch the drafting of this dress, which is already on the channel before this. I went ahead to place my front pattern on my fabric and I cut it out. Remember to put your fabric on fold before cutting. Also, I'll go on to sew my bust dart using the 1/2 inch I left at both sides. I'll be sewing it like that. Then I also cut out lining for the front. I used same crepe fabric for the lining. You can use any fabric of your choice, any stretchy fabric of your choice for your lining. This is my back pattern. I cut out 2 pieces of this for both sides. Alright, this is what we have. And for the back pattern, I cut out facing for the neckline. I'm not using a full lining for it. This is the down part of our skirt. I went ahead to attach interfacing to it. I used paper stay. So this is what our skirt is looking like. Remember to put your fabric on fold before cutting out. And then this is the lining for the skirt. I'm using this off-white crepe. Is lighter than the main crepe I used for the fabric for the dress, and is 1 inch shorter than the actual fabric. This is the back part of our skirt. I placed the front pattern on it. The only difference between the front and the back part is just the zipper allowance that I added to the back. So this is it. I used 2 inches zipper allowance. Don't forget to eliminate your zipper bulge at the skirt, just the way we did for the top part. Use same method to achieve that of the skirt. And also remember to replace your 0.75 at the side so you don't run short of fabric. I also went ahead to cut out the lining for the back part of my skirt. Remember to take away 1 inch. The lining is 1 inch shorter than the actual fabric. I'll go over to my sewing machine and turn the neckline of the back. And for the front, I'm going to be sewing the bust dart first for both the lining and the actual fabric. After which, I'll go on to turn my neckline using 1/2 inch. Alright, so this is what we have. After I'm done sewing, I went ahead to iron it properly so it's laying really flat at this point. I did same thing for the back part of the top. You can see what we have. So this is the neckline for the back. Next, I'll go on to cut out the illusion pocket. It's not actually a real pocket, it's just an illusion. For the pocket width, I used 6 inches, while the length is 3.5. I'll be placing this on my fabric, and the fabric is going to be on fold while I place it on it, and I'm going to cut it out. So if you want to create a bit of curve at the edge of your pockets, you can go on and do that. And if you want it straight, you can still maintain it like this. So here is my pattern on my fabric while my fabric is on fold, and I'm cutting it out here. After I'm done, this is what we have. Alright, I added interfacing to my fabric and I went ahead using 1/2 inch. I went ahead to sew it all round, leaving the top part opened. This is the front part of my skirt. From the down part, I'm going to go up by 8 inches. Then from the middle point, I'll be coming in by 2.5 inches. So from that 2.5 inches point, that's where I'll be placing my pocket from. Right, just like this. I'll do same thing to the other part of the skirt. So I'm going to place the pocket this way. I'll place it like this. Using 1/2 inch, I'm going to sew it down. All right, then I'll turn it, I'll flip it down just like this, and I'll top stitch on it to keep the pocket in place. I'm done sewing it, and this is what my pocket is looking like on both sides. You can see the top stitch there is making the pocket stay in place. I'll be attaching my lining. I also added interfacing to the lining to give the fabric a bit of stability. So using 1/2 inch, I'm going to be attaching my lining like this, right face facing each other, and I'll be sewing it at the hem and at the sides, but I'll leave the up part open to turn it to the right face. I'm done sewing, and this is what I have. I went ahead to give it a good press. I did same thing with the back part of my skirt. So next, I'm going to be attaching the skirt and the top parts together like this, right face facing each other. And I'm going to go over to my sewing machine. All right, I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it at the waistline there. I'll do same thing with the back part of the dress as well. Right face facing each other, and I'm going to sew using 1/2 inch. So I'm done sewing, and this is the back part of the skirt, of the dress, sorry. I'll go on to attach my zipper. From the waist part, I came down by 6 inches, and from that 6 inches point, I closed it up all the way to the hem. I'm done attaching my zipper. This is what I have. It's an invisible zip. So this is it. Next is to attach the front and the back together. All right, at the shoulder point. So shoulder to shoulder like this. Okay, and I'm going to use the lining from the front part of the dress. I'll just pick one part of it. I'll flip it to the other face, and I will sew it all the way down using 1/2 inch. I'm done sewing. This is what our shoulder point is looking like, neat and clean. Next is to join the sides of the dress. Make sure the waist point is aligning, and I'll use my body measurement to sew it at both sides. After sewing, this is what our A-line dress is looking like. So the next thing I'll be doing is to draft out the sleeve. I'll be using this basic sleeve pattern to achieve the kind of sleeve we have on the thumbnail. I have a video on the channel on how to draft this basic sleeve pattern. I'll be putting the link in the description box, and also be linking a card up on the video. So now I went ahead to introduce a new pattern. I already added my sewing allowance to this basic sleeve. So at the elbow point, I'm going to come out by 1.5 inches on the new pattern. And then on the hem of the basic sleeve, I'll be coming out by 3.5 inches. Just watch carefully how I'm going about it. And the full length of the new sleeve is 31 inches plus sewing allowance. So at the hem of the new sleeve, I'm going to be marking out 10 inches, just the way you see me doing right now. I've already cut it out. I'm just explaining how I achieved this shape. So this is how to achieve the sleeve we have on the thumbnail. Next thing is for me to place it on my fabric and cut out. Here I've cut out the lining and also the main fabric. I'm going to be sewing the lining differently, and I'll be sewing the main fabric on its own. Using my sewing allowance, I'll sew it at the sides, both the lining and the main fabric. I'll sew the main fabric at the side as well. After I was done, I went ahead to turn it to the right face. I gave it a good press. The next thing I'll be doing is to do all the, you can see how the shape of our sleeve is. So I'm going to trim the necessary parts, the hem. Make sure everything is aligning well. Do your necessary trimmings before joining them together. I'll also be notching the edges. Alright, notch all the edges that you have so that it will help you when sewing. Everything will align properly. Subscribe to my channel, guys, if you have not. Like and turn on your post notification bell so you're updated when I upload a new video. We upload sewing tutorials every week. Thank you so much. So the next thing I'll be doing is to attach my lining and the main fabric together. I went ahead to turn my lining to the wrong face, and then I'll be inserting the main fabric into the lining like this. Please watch carefully how I'm going about this process. So I'm going to be aligning the sides together of the main fabric and the lining. I'll be joining it together like this. I'll use my pin to secure it at that point. And also at the other edge where I notched, I'll be securing it, making sure they are both joined together. I'll go over to my sewing machine. I'll use 1/2 inch to sew it all round. You can use your pins to secure them all round. After sewing, this is what I have. I'll go on and notch the sleeve all round, and then I'll also trim off the excess. This will help the sleeve to relax very well at that point. Now, after trimming off my excess, I'll turn it this way. Just watch carefully how I'm going about this. I'll pull it out like this. After pulling it out, I'm going to insert my hand from the actual fabric just like this, and I'll pull it inward. All right, so here we have our sleeve, you can see. So this is what we have. I'll go on and give it a good press so everything is laying well. Then I'll be attaching it to the main dress. Alright, I'll go on and attach it to my dress. I'll also do the same thing for the other part of the sleeve. You can see I'm done attaching it on this side and also on the other side of the dress. After attaching this, what I have. Alright, I also went ahead to attach my molded buttons at the back. This is our collar. I showed you how to cut out the collar in the drafting tutorial of this dress. Make sure you watch that tutorial before this for better understanding. I've placed that pattern on my fabric and I cut it out. So the next thing is to sew it using 1/2 inch at the sides, at the top. Also, the place I'll be leaving will be the part we'll be attaching to the neckline. Also, remember the extension, I'll be using 1/2 inch to sew that as well. But the rest part will be left open. That's the part I'll be attaching to the dress. After sewing my collar, I went ahead to turn it to the right face and I gave it a very good press. The next thing is to attach it to the neckline of my dress. Look at how I'm placing it. All right, from that point, remember the 2 inches point is going to be left out. So from that point where I didn't sew, I'm going to be attaching it to the midpoint of my neckline from the wrong face. Okay, I'm attaching it from the wrong face of my dress, and I'll use not up to 1/2 inch. Okay, just use very little to sew it at that neckline, and then I'm going to turn it to the right face. The next thing is to take the measurement for the structure at the down part of the dress, crossing over to the waistline to the back. So from my waist point, I'll come down by 6 inches, and from that 6 inches point, I'm going to mark it like this, taking my measurements for how to know how much inches I need to draft that structure out. So as it is, I have about 29 inches, but I'll make it 30 inches to be on the safe side. So I have my pattern paper here. That 30 inches, I'm going to be dividing it by 2, which will give me 15 inches. My pattern paper is on fold as well, okay? It's on fold, so I'm dividing the 30 inches by 2. I'm going to be placing my 15 inches like this. And then plus sewing allowance, I'll add 1 inch sewing allowance, making it 16 inches. If you have excess, you can trim it out later. It's better to have excess than to have shortage. So at that 15 inches point, I'm going to go up by 6.5 inches. I'll be adding all my sewing allowances as well. Then at this midpoint, I'm going to go up by 4.5 inches. So I'll go on and connect the dots. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to go up by 0.5 inches at that down part. Okay, I'll go up by 0.5 inches at that point. This is going to help the structure go round the needed part of the dress without hanging. Okay, it's going to help it to relax because we are not attaching it on a straight line. So just do this for it to go round easily. After that, I'll come over to this top part and I'll extend it by 1 inch. Then I'll connect to the down part. So this is what we have. I'll place it on my fabric. I'll cut out first. After which, I'll place it on my fabric and cut out 2 pieces of this. After placing it on my fabric and cutting it out, this is what I have. I have 2 pieces of this, and I also added interfacing to it, alright, to make it stand. Then I'll go over to my sewing machine and I'll use 1/2 inch and sew it all round. After which, I'm going to notch before turning it to the right face. After turning it to the right face, I give it a good press. So the next thing is to attach it to my dress. Alright, so I'll come down by 6 inches from the waist, and from that point, I'll be attaching it to my dress. Okay, I'm going to flip it like this, and I'll be sewing it through the waist all the way to the back. After sewing, I'll just bend it forward like this and give it a good press so it stays in place. Thank you guys for staying tuned to this point. I really appreciate. See you all in my next video. Bye.